Oh, I should make a little news here. So, you've all come, and you may or may not see this, but it's very possible. One of the things I bought, was bought for a different purpose by a different manager months earlier. He bought roughly 15 million shares of Activision, and I never paid. I knew about the company, but I would just see it at the monthly report. But then on January, 17th or 18th, something like that, Microsoft announced they were going to buy Activision for $95 a share. Now, when they announced that, at that point, Activision becomes a different kind of security. It becomes what Charlie and I used to call, everybody did, 50 years ago, we call them workouts or something like that, and they become known as arbitrage. Well, they're not really arbitrage, but they're securities, they're, in this case, a common stock, whose value depends not on what the market price does, but whether a given corporate event occurs, an announced corporate event occurs. Well, Microsoft wants to buy Activision, we'll say. Well, they said at $95 a share. And they've got the money, and obviously mergers and big mergers, tech companies, all kinds of things, have got all kinds of problems with the world generally in terms of opinion. So you don't know what the Justice Department will do, or you don't know what the EU will do, and all kinds of things. But at that point, it becomes a different security. And Charlie and I, 50 years ago, we used to do a lot of that sort of thing. And Gus Levy did it at Goldman Sachs, and we even went back one time, I think, on British Columbia Power, didn't we, Charlie?
Yeah, we certainly did.
Yeah. A guy named Bennett was up there, and we were trying to figure out whether some takeover of the power business. I mean, we spent a lot of time analyzing the probabilities of announced deals going through, and we call them workouts. Now the term became ARB, and it hasn't worked overall too well in recent years. Now, every now and then, I see something that I want to do in that field, but very seldom, because they got to be big. The profit is limited. If they say you're going to get 95, you're not going to get 96, and if the deal blows up, you may have a stock that's at 40 or something. So but we did it with Monsanto 5 or 6 years ago when Bayer was buying it, and we got very lucky because it turned out to be a terrible acquisition for Bayer, but it did go through because Bayer had the money, and they went through with the deal, even though Monsanto came with a problem that nobody really understood the extent of. And we did it with Red Hat when IBM bought it. So, in any event, on January, whatever it was, 17th, 18th, 19th, Microsoft announces it, and the stock, which had been at 60, let's see I may have a slide here, which I'll find, but in any event, the stock, which had been in the 60s, went up to the 81 or 2, and that looked like not a big enough spread to me for a few days. And then it settled back a little. So anyway, we now own 9.5%, something like 9.5% of Activision. And if we went over 10%, we would file a report. So in order that the news people don't feel that there's no news there, I can tell you that as of yesterday, we own about 9.5%. If we go past 10%, there'll be a form filed with the SEC and so on. But it is my purchases, not the manager who bought it some months ago. If the deal goes through, we make some money, and if the deal doesn't go through, who knows what happens.